that you are free to be yourself. Are you ready? Let's do it. To be true to yourself is one of the most vulnerable, honest, brave, and ultimately fulfilling things that you can do in this life. A lot of people are unwilling to do the work that it takes to uncover who they truly are, and even more so, unwilling to live their truth unapologetically. While others feel like they do know what their truth is, but they're scared that if they express themselves or be true to themselves, they will be judged or they worry about what others might think. Today we're going to hear from some very special members of the LGBT community here at Rainbow Mountain Resort about how they uncovered their own truth, how they overcame those limiting beliefs that were stopping them from being true to themselves, and why they believe it is so important to have the willingness to be true to themselves. Later we're going to find out what might be stopping you from uncovering your own truth so you can push past those limiting beliefs and live a life where you are happy and fulfilled and free to be yourself. If you are stuck feeling like you're not even sure how to find your own truth, or you feel like you do know how to be true to yourself and you do know what is true to yourself, but you're not sure how to express that, then this is the episode for you. Next, we're going to hear from Marie and Maria about what having the willingness to be true to yourself means to them.
Hi, I'm Maria.
And I'm Marie. And we're married.
And there's that. And there is definitely that.
That is so perfect. That's going in the promo. That's so perfect. Okay. And we're married.
And we're married.
Obviously. So just give us a little bit of backstory about who you are, about being involved in the LGBT community. You're newlyweds.
Yes. We've been together for 15 years, been married about a year and a half. May will be 2 years, actually, that we're married. I'm originally from New Jersey. I came from a Cuban family mom that was super Catholic, and it was a little tough, when I finally realized, I always realized who I was, but it was tough when, trying to explain to my elderly mom who I really was. I've been through quite a bit, struggling with that in my younger years. And then it just became so much easier as I got older. I came from a corporate world, so being in a corporate world was really tough to actually, let people know who I really was. So I hid it. I hid it for quite a while. I was married. I was married to a man for quite a few years, and once me and him split up and divorced, I just realized that wasn't for me anymore. That really, really wasn't for me. And my mom, even though she knew, we never really talked about it. We never really talked about it until one day, then Marie came into my life, and she didn't get to experience a lot of my mom because my mom passed in 2011, which was a great impact for me. That made me realize I need to be true.
Yes.
Really who I am. Because you know what? She accepted me and loved me regardless. And, that changed me forever. That really did. She loved Marie.
She did.
Yes.
I loved her too, though.
Yeah, they didn't really quite communicate too well because my mom spoke Spanish. She spoke English, and then her Spanish was broken, and whatever it was, it was.
But we figured it out, though.
They did figure it out.
Yeah.
They did figure it out. But it helped me to become, and I told her every day, I tell Marie that every day. Ever since my mom passed, it feel like I just grew stronger. It did suffer for quite a while, but it did make me a stronger person. She came to this country not knowing a lick of English.
Wow.
And raised me and my sister by herself from Cuba. So, if she was strong enough to do that, I should be strong enough to let people understand this is me. This is who I am. Exactly. Labels are labels, yes. But yes, I am a very proud lesbian woman that is very much in love with my wife. We raise children together. Our children are very much a part of this community, and they're very happy and very proud of who we are.
That's awesome.
And it's great because that way they're never going to grow up being hateful and being confused about it and all that stuff. So it makes me happy. It does. It really, really does.
I honestly don't have the same story as her.
Yeah.
I was always with men my whole entire life.
Okay.
My struggle wasn't the same as hers was. Like, I was married, also had, obviously, she said we have 3 children. The fathers were not in the picture.
Okay.
And when I met Maria, which is through the person who married us,
Our third
Oh,
she
fun.
married us, she introduced us, and when I met Maria, it was more like a friendship.
Yes.
I knew she was gay.
Yep.
Mhm.
But I wasn't, in my mind.
Okay.
In my mind, I wasn't gay. I've never been with a woman.
Okay.
But being around her, like, we did everything together.
Yeah.
You know, like, went to the store together, went shopping together. Everything we did was together.
That's good.
Like, we were like this, inseparable.
Yeah.
And then I guess one day I woke up and I was like, wow, why do I want to kiss her?
Yeah.
It was awkward to me. The feelings that I was having.
Okay.
So coming out for me was definitely not hard.
Really?
I mean, I don't feel like I had the same struggles that a lot of people have.
Right.
I literally gave my mom pictures of me and Maria and was like, you see the girl in the pictures? And she's like, yeah. I was like, that's my girlfriend. Oh, you have a girlfriend? That's nice. Like girlfriend.
Right.
And I was like, no, Mom, it's like my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like,
romantic. interest.
right.
Right.
And she goes, are you sure? That was literally like her whole expression.
But
She was
here's the
like,
kicker. Her mom has best friends that are also gay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
She had
That's
like
a big
3 or 4 of
difference.
them.
Yeah, so that made things a little bit easier.
I think that's super important for viewers to know because people are like, I wish.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
that's such an ideal situation.
My mom's best friend, 2 best friends were a couple gay.
Okay.
And then they had friends, 2 other friends that were men that were gay.
Okay.
So those were the people in my mom's circle for many years. So which I think is good, to be really open with family, friends, kids, loved ones,
Yes.
whoever. Just be yourself, be true, and it makes it easier for the other people coming up in the world, like how my
Yes.
kids were
The
so
younger, yes.
willing to say, hey mom,
Right.
I like girls and boys.
Right.
It should be like that with everybody.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that you both have like almost opposite stories where you're saying I hid it because of work, because you were
Well, because of work and because of my mom's religious beliefs.
And then
You
she
know,
was older.
And my mom was older. My mom had me when she was 40.
Okay.
So she was an older lady that was into the church. And,
Yeah.
there was a way that you had to kind of express who you were. And, at that time, and then work. And then I worked in the corporate fields. So, I worked in this corporate world that, you have to hide that. And it's tough. It's really, really tough. Even though, like I said, I was married to a man.
Right.
I also have a son as
Okay.
well. I had a child. And not that I didn't love him. I did love him. I just wasn't in love.
Right.
And there's a difference with that. And then I wasn't being true to who I was.
Right.
I just was unhappy. Not as happy as I am today. And now I could just say who I am. I mean, I don't have to go around with the label on my chest.
Yeah.
She's not walking around with a flag on her back.
I'm just not. Because I still have a corporate job.
Sure.
And I still, but my bosses all know my life. Actually, we work in the same for the same company.
Oh, cool.
So the owner of our company actually flew up from Florida
To come
to
to our
our wedding.
Oh, very cool.
Which makes me feel good, and I want to just say something that, anybody who feels like, oh my God, I have to hide this, don't. It's so much of a relief
Yes.
when you can actually be true to who you are.
Right.
You know, give you that willingness.
want it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you don't have to flaunt it. No, absolutely not. You know, but on the same token, be true. Be true to yourself. Don't be scared, even though there's still a lot of hate out there. There really is. But then there's a lot of love.
Right.
And our community is about that. It's about love and embracing people. And, you know, we come here, you know, we come to Rainbow Mountain so much.
Yep.
And we've met a bunch of great people. We have a great circle. And we come and get together a couple of times a year. And it's just amazing. You have the straight couples that come here now and love it because of the fact that it's
They're
so
welcoming.
it's welcoming,
Yes.
it's carefree, it lets you be who you are.
Right.
You know, so you know, just to throw this out there to the younger,
Yes,
the younger generation, and let them know that I'm proud of the newer generation because you know what, they're not as scared as they were when it was me. You know, it was a different world. Things have changed. You know, the world is so much more inviting to these people that, you know, and we've, as a community, we've just broadened so many horizons.
Yes.
You know, we
Broken
have
so many barriers.
so many.
So many.
Okay, we have doctors, lawyers, you know, we have a bunch of friends that are nurses and all these, and we have so many different people now that everybody's happy to be who they are, and it's a beautiful thing.
I think that's the happiest place you could be, is when you're free from caring about what other people think, and you're really living your truth.
Absolutely.
And I think that if you can find those two things in life, you're doing pretty good.
Absolutely.
What would you say to our audience and our viewers who, so, you know, throughout the episode we talked about, there's kind of two groups of people, right? There's one group of people who say, I don't even know what it means to be true to myself. So maybe what you would say to them. And then the other group of people is, I mean, I guess there's three of us, because there's one group of people who are like, I'm true to myself and I love it, I'm living my best life. And that's what we want for audience members.
Correct.
That's what we want for viewers. So you have those other two groups that one is, what the heck is being true to yourself even mean? Then the other group is, I know my truth and I'm scared.
For the ones that don't, some people, you know, everyone's different. You know, I'm older, you know, I'm in my 50s. So it took me a long time to be comfortable in my own skin. So for those that don't know yet, don't be scared to not know yet. Sometimes it's either an event in your life, maybe it's somebody that you meet. Time.
To learn who you are.
Age, you know, it's just a big, you know, don't be scared. If you're not ready to express who you are, or if you don't even know who you are yet,
that's okay.
it comes. It's in time. You know, and for the ones that are, you know, okay, you know, being who they are, I commend everybody for that. I applaud that. You know, but not everybody's ready. You know, I know that we've come across people that are just confused still in what they want to do. That's okay.
Yes, it is.
It's okay. Live your life. If you're younger, like I said, I've done a variety of things.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm comfortable in my own skin, I can be who I am.
Right.
So to, you know, to the audience out there, just give it time. It's okay. It's okay.
I think that, like, every episode we do is called The Willingness to Something.
Right.
Okay? This episode is the willingness to be true to yourself. And I think that that's all you need, is that willingness to seek truth, to find who you are. Like, it's not this one-shot deal, oh, I figured it out, or like, it's life. You know, we're constantly changing. We had some guests before who talked about it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to think one thing and believe something, and then, oh, I'm more enlightened, I understand more, I this, I that. You know, and I think actually there's a big stigma with LGBT community of older generation who maybe had a thought and now they understand more, but it's like, well, I used to think this and I don't want to be wrong.
Right.
So, and it's like just that evolution, just that seeking truth.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And nothing is wrong as long as you're happy.
Right.
Right. So if you liked men before, and now you like women, but then you decide, well, maybe I like men too.
Yeah.
So then,
That's okay.
So if you went around
Right.
telling everybody
Who
you're
am I to
gay,
judge?
right? You went around telling everybody, oh no, I'm gay,
Yep.
and then a week later you're with a guy. So what?
So what? That's
You
what
changed
we-
your mind. Big
That's
deal.
right.
Nothing wrong with that. You know what? You have to look within and say, okay, well, this is really who I am.
Right.
You know, and like you said, we evolve. As people, we evolve. And a lot of things, you know, are just not as they seem at that moment.
Stay tuned. The Alaura Show is brought to you by Love Light Sound Music. If you would like to be a guest on the show, or you have a willingness topic to suggest, email booking@lovelightsoundmusic.com. Our next guest is DJ Jersey, who is here to tell us why having the willingness to be true to himself is actually the thing that saved his life. Take a look.
Hey, I'm DJ Jersey, and the willingness to transition has been life-changing. It's one of the most, it's almost like rebirthing in a sense. There's more to transition than just transitioning. Gender is not in between your legs. Gender is a mental state.
Okay.
And when your body doesn't align with where your mentality is, it can be very distressing and extremely hard to live in society. But even through transition, living in society becomes even harder. The second you out yourself, you have a target on your back. Because people don't understand.
Right.
They don't understand that, you know, we can step outside the box, outside the comfort zone, and say, I want to be this, or I want to be that.
This is what's true to me.
Yes.
Right.
It takes years of hard work, though.
Sure.
Like getting to know who you are at the core. Not who you are, but who you want to discover. We don't find ourselves, we discover ourselves. I'm convinced of that. You know, it's trial and error, what works for you, what doesn't work for you in the mix of life. I've found transition to be one of the best avenues and one of the hardest. It's not so cut and dry. The world can be ugly. The world can be discriminative and nasty and hateful. And that's why places like Rainbow Mountain and Paradise in New Jersey and Feathers in North Jersey, you know, are so important to the LGBTQ. It's a safe place.
Right.
You know, a lot of us are working in the real world and explaining ourselves, or sometimes even being misgendered, or, you know, and on a weekend or whatever the case may be, you just want to get away and escape into a world that's safe. That's the biggest thing, is the safety of it.
Yeah, that's what
You know, I don't want to be Jay who's trans. I just want to be Jay.
Right.
I just want to be Jay. I don't need to explain how I got here. I don't need to explain. I just need to live my truth day in and day out. And if transition is what made me more comfortable,
Of course.
then what does it matter to the next guy?
That's right. That's right. So, can you tell us, when did you, first of all, when did you feel like this is not in line? Here and here is not feeling the same? And what, like the process of transition?
That's a great question. So, transition happened 3 years ago, officially.
Okay.
Hormones and everything else.
Okay.
However, prior to that, it was something always that I knew, but couldn't quite figure out.
Okay.
One of my friends said to me, well, if you had to be naked on a beach, what body would you most comfortably be naked?
Wow, what an interesting question.
And it clicked.
That
I
is
said,
fascinating.
okay. So I made a call to my cousin,
I
and
love
I
that.
said, I'm trans. And she said, okay, well, we kind of knew. We were just waiting for you to show up to the party.
Right.
So, but it's a process. You don't, it's a huge process. It's life-changing. It's happiness. It's pureness. It's being authentic. It's kindness, too. Like, if you don't feel comfortable within your body,
Right.
how can you show up at your best for people?
You know, something interesting you just said that we haven't talked about all day is that, you know, a lot of the things we've talked about with other guests is the willingness to be true to yourself often starts with, what the hell does that mean? What is true to myself? And then, you know, you just said something that kind of provoked a thought for me is being true to yourself is maybe the highest form of self-love.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. You have to love yourself first.
Yeah.
Before anybody else can come into the mix, before you could show up for anybody else. Like number one has to be number one.
That's right.
Make time for the things you love. Make time for the gym. Make time to go clubbing. Make time, whatever it is that you love.
Yeah.
Make time for those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a valuable lesson in life,
Mm-hmm.
is self-love and self-care. If you don't have that at your core,
Mm-hmm.
everything else goes out the window.
That's right. Can you kind of walk us through? So you talked to your cousin about the fact that you were like, I'm trans. From there to, you know, we talked a lot about the world we live in and how important it is to find a safe space like Rainbow Mountain. But that's not the reality. The reality of this world is that to be trans is I can't even imagine, actually. I can't even speak on that. I can't even imagine how hard that was for you to say, this is so true to myself that I'm going to follow this. And I know that it might be hard, and I know that there might be people who don't agree or don't understand, people I love who don't understand, and it's still so important to me and my life and my purpose on this earth that I'm going to do that. Can you tell us a little bit about that decision?
The decision was cut and dry for me when I came to terms with it.
Okay.
Like, okay, I had a bunch of trans friends, and I worked with different organizations, like Edge and Triversity and all these big organizations that are formed within the LGBTQ, helping people with support groups and different avenues. I had worked with all those individuals, so I had pretty much everything at my disposal to come to terms with everything, which I was very blessed to have.
That's amazing.
However, I knew coming out to my family was going to be hard, but even more what was going to be hard was I had to come out to the public because I was DJ Jersey.
Right.
And in some avenues, I wish I didn't, but in other avenues, I'm glad I did, because it gave me a stronger core,
right.
More bravery, more
Yes.
courage, and
More truth.
Yes, in the long run, I was able to help people who were struggling with their identity.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, it's a double-edged sword. You trade one truth for another truth and another reality. The world, it's, and along with coming out to so many people, I then had to educate.
Right.
I'm not your trans friend. I'm Jay. My
Right.
pronouns are he, him.
That's it.
That's it. It's that simple.
There's no question. There's no
Nothing.
Yeah.
My birth certificate says it. My license says it. Everything says it. If the U.S. government can recognize
right.
it, so
Get
can
on
everybody
board.
else. But the education factor it's a lot to put on one's shoulders.
That's right.
While you're trying to transition and go through this massive life-changing event.
Right.
There's so many in early transitions. You know, you're rebirthing yourself. You're having tons of firsts, like going to Six Flags is a first as Jay in a different body. You're comfortable. You're like it's
Freedom.
yes,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But like I said, the world, it just be careful. You have to be careful.
First, can you tell us, you said you were able to impact other people and help them understand. Is there maybe a story that comes to mind that you could share with us, or maybe overall how you feel like you're helping others?
I live in a very small town.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a area of Pennsylvania that's very small, and this culture is not quite made it there. I grew up in Jersey, New York.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Rainbows are just starting to show where I live.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to bring the first drag show to Mount Carmel, PA.
Wow.
And the outcome was amazing. This was right before I was gonna come out.
Okay.
And at the end of the night, I stopped to get gas in my truck. And an officer said to me, Jersey, I have never seen the Sons of Poland so packed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was moving for me because anybody who knows anything about pride or anything like that, it stems from a riot between people and police.
Mm-hmm.
So to have that moment was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had people stop me, you know, and ask me, you know, who are your surgeons? What facilities do you go to? How do you get on hormones? And it's just, I either direct them based on where they live. If they're in Pennsylvania, to Mizonian, which is in Philadelphia, or Cal and Lord out of New York.
Cool. Will you give us a list of resources
Absolutely.
for this episode? We're going to put some resources in for anybody who feels like they're not sure where to go, not sure who to talk to. If they're local to this area, we want to provide resources for people.
Absolutely.
And we would love for you to share that with us. So, in terms of transition, let's say there's somebody watching the show at home by themselves, and they're trans. In their heart, they know, this is for me, this is what I need to do. I'll be so much happier, more free. Where the heck do I start?
That's a hard question to answer because every individual is different.
Okay.
For me, it was literally a drive and me just vocalizing it
Yes.
to one person. Everything else just kind of fell into place. But for any individual that's trying to figure it out, that's such a personal journey. It's such a personal journey that I don't think I can honestly answer that.
Yeah.
And give them direction.
Right. I think you did kind of answer it by saying, I verbalized it. There's so much power in the words that we speak, right? We really can create our reality. We
Absolutely.
can speak into existence what we are, who we are, what we're going to be, and who we're going to become. And so I think that's maybe stronger than people give credit to say, I just said out loud, this is who I am. And oh my God, all these other things fell in place.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think maybe people discount how valuable that is to just say it out loud. Say it in the mirror, you know?
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, like you know, it all starts with the man in the mirror. Or the woman in the mirror.
Either way.
Or the they, or the
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Whatever we're identifying as.
That's right.
It starts with the person in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. As long as you love that person, everything
Okay.
else is good.
That's right. So, why do you think that it's so important for some people? They get it right away. Some people told the story. They were like, I came out and my whole family was like, yeah, totally, we knew. And that was it. That's amazing. Other people are like, I hid it for years. Other people are like, well, I didn't know or whatever. So why do you think it's so important for people to really first seek out what their own truth is, and second, decide to live in their truth?
Because it's freedom, it's happiness, and happiness is everything. You could have all the money in the world, but if you're not happy, it means nothing.
Right. I agree. And your happiness has to be your happiness.
It has to be your happiness.
And I think that's an overall theme of the show, is that no parent, no sibling, no partner gets to dictate what is happiness for you and who you are. And frankly, it's none of their business.
Facts. You know, I always say this, we're either growing together or we're backtracking.
Right.
You know, it's any relationship, whether it's a friendship,
Mhm.
a partner, a family member, you're either growing together or you're not.
Right.
It's that simple. It all comes down, you know, to the mental health. And mental health with transition is very important. It is very, 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 very.
Do
very
they
important.
require you? I think I've heard you have to have like psych eval, right?
Yes.
When you go through transition. Okay. I agree. I think mental health for everybody is
absolutely.
like people care about vitamins and going to the doctor, but mental health is like
Mental
different
health is
category. Like, what is that?
It's so important.
It's more than important.
It doesn't get enough recognition.
Yes.
At all.
Yes, I agree.
When you are, and I can speak on this, when you are trans, your mental health sometimes takes a beating.
I would imagine.
The misgendering, if it happens consistently enough, it does a number to you.
I'm sure.
It doesn't, like I said, I come from a very small area in Pennsylvania. There was a lot of education that needed to happen. And I'm one person trying to educate and correct and
go through your own journey.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Too much.
With hormones, everything gets magnified.
Oh, God. That's too much.
Energy levels, everything.
Wow.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's very, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like
feeling like you're more aligned with your real self.
It's a freedom.
Yeah.
It is a freedom.
I'm sure it is.
It is definitely a freedom.
That's amazing. I hope that people who are watching, because I can see sitting next to you, and actually a lot of the guests, when they talk about coming out, or they talk about that moment they finally transition or whatever, like the look on your face says it all. And I hope that maybe somebody at home who's like, I want to transition, but like the happiness and the freedom that comes on the other side of anything that's hard, it's always worth it more to go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't know if you don't take the risk. If you don't, it's like asking a question. You don't know if you don't ask.
That's right.
You know, what's like, if you feel something this strong in you, you have to do it. It doesn't matter what people are going to say, what people are going to think. What matters is how you feel at the soul. Like, it's just at the soul. Make yourself better. Make yourself feel aligned. Feeling aligned is an amazing...
There's nothing like it.
It's amazing. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that gender and sexuality are the same thing. And they're not.
Okay.
Gender is male, female, etc., etc.
Okay.
Sexuality, gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual. You could transition and you could go from female to male and end up liking men and identify as gay.
Right.
It's the same thing for cisgender people. You know, like, there's no difference. It's just people get so confused and blur the lines.
That's very interesting.
You know what I mean?
I think part of the thing I really love about this episode is that there's so much discomfort in misunderstanding. People feel uncomfortable because they don't know, what am I supposed to like you're Jay. I love that. And I think pretty much everybody kind of gave their own version of we had another guest, Francisco, who said labels, what the heck, I'm a human.
Exactly.
What the heck?
Exactly. Emotions
really
just
that
like
simple.
you. It really
Yeah,
is.
it's not that hard.
No.
So you had made a comment about how your physical body is not representative of maybe how you feel up here. I think it's very important, particularly for straight people who don't understand how it feels. How could you explain to people, I'm sure you get this question all the time, but I need to ask it for viewers who are watching, who are like, I'm straight, I don't get it. What would you say to them?
Do you ever put on an outfit and it just doesn't
So
fit right.
ugly. Yes.
And it makes you feel uncomfortable,
Yes.
makes you feel fat, makes you feel this, makes you feel that.
Yes.
That's what living in the wrong body feels like consistently.
Wow. And who wants to wear the wrong outfit every day?
For real.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me. That's perfect. And like how simple you put it. It feels, you know, I've had people in my life before who are like, I don't get it. And I'm like, first of all, it's not your job to get. Second of all, you can't make a judgment on being gay, being straight, being bi, being trans, because you don't know how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line is, you know, you're saying, this is my experience. It feels like, hey, I'm in the wrong body. What an awful feeling. That would feel terrible.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's really not fun.
And like, how lucky that people have never felt that. But for people who do, how amazing that there's options for you to feel like this is what's true to me. This is what's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you could tell the viewers or whoever anything about something you feel like there's misunderstanding on, I mean, that's a whole episode.
That's a whole nother episode.
But maybe just give us a condensed version of something that you wish people knew or people understood about the LGBT community.
Be kind.
Mm.
Be kind. You don't need to understand it, just be kind.
Yep.
The words you say, the words you speak could really take a toll on somebody.
Never know.
You never know.
Wow. That's very powerful. Because you think about the impact that hate or that comment or misgendering could really have on somebody, and how unfortunate for no reason.
It costs people their life.
Yes, it does.
And that's, you really have to watch how you talk to people. Just in general.
Yeah. In general. Anybody.
In general.
Anybody.
And for the LGBTQAI, it is even worse. You know, you have a rainbow flag, or even with Black Lives Matter, people don't understand why we've incorporated that into the gay scene. The second you put a rainbow flag, a trans flag, anything outside the norm on African American, that adds another target to their back. Just be kind. Just be kind, and if you don't know, ask.
Right.
With education comes understanding.
That's right. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If somebody feels like they're confused, how could they go about, you know, saying, hey, I don't get it, but I want to?
Pull the individual aside.
Okay.
Do not do it in a group setting. You don't know who knows what.
Right.
You know, you might be putting an individual in a sticky situation.
Sure.
Especially with trans.
Yep.
Like that hate people. There's only two settings really for this. People either love trans and are willing to learn.
Sure.
Or they hate trans. There's
really, there's no.
I can tell literally by a hello.
Really?
Oh yeah, my safety depends on it.
Right.
I can tell if you're a safe person or if you're not a safe person.
Wow.
It's hormones are intense.
Yeah.
it amplifies everything.
I hate that you have to make that decision in a conversation, but your life depends on it.
It really does. Truly.
I love that you said be kind, because it's really that simple.
It really is.
It's like, that's the whole kind of premise of this episode. It's none of your business.
Love wins.
Just be kind. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate you for taking the time to be with us, and we're going to share some of the resources on the show. So thank you for living in your truth. I think it's affecting other people, you know? Yeah, thanks for being here. We'll be right back. That's all we have for today's show. As always, thank you to the amazing team at Love Light Sound Music for making this episode possible. And make sure that you go to lovelightsoundmusic.com to sign up for our mailing list and receive all the exclusives and bonuses from this episode and every other episode. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and a very, very special thank you to Rainbow Mountain Resort in the Poconos. I hope you leave feeling more worthy, more valuable, and more willing to move towards creating your best life. Remember to stay present, stay aligned, and be willing to receive all the things that are already meant for you. Love and light to you kings and queens. See you next week.